Pallets. If you got space for free pallets that you can pick up someplace, they come in handy, especially coming to the winter season. You can get stuff up off the ground. Don't seem like it freezes so hard to the pallets. Even if the pallet freezes to the ground, you can leave it till spring. And you've got whatever tool that's sitting on there able to move. And then if you clear off that pallet again, you can bring it back there when you're not using it during the winter. It gives you a convenient spot to get into and pick up things. Also comes springtime when the muck starts building up, gets it up a little bit out of that muck. So my plan is to either put the stump bucket on that little pallet there with some 2Is, or else put the ballast box on the little one and use this for the stump bucket, maybe something else. We'll see here, so hang on, we'll figure it out. Remind me next year to make a level spot for all this stuff. We seem like we all got slopes going down the hill here, but at least it's up off the ground. I'll spin the tractor around, we'll hook up the ballast box, and see if we can get on the smaller pallet. That way if we need it during the winter, they're not frozen down to the ground. But I wasn't a bombardier, so let's see if we're aiming up there about right. That's a little better. That takes care of the ballast box. Go down, put the box blade up on some wood. Then we'll go down and hook up the back blade. And if we do get snow, we can do a little pushing. Still got to put some fuel in this thing. Check some fluids. So still got a few things to do. Might take lunch here in a little bit. tip inside this video here. Don't set your stuff straight on the ground. I forgot to put something underneath this box scraper. And as you can see, it's got a little bit of tilt here, not only because of the hillside, but this ground isn't the firmest of the world. So even with the 3-point hitch down in the lowest position and the hook as low as it goes, it's going to be a struggle to hook this thing up. So save yourself some time. Throw a couple of 2x or logs or something underneath there so it doesn't settle down into the ground. I mean, this right now is not frozen ground, so it isn't too bad, but it's still going to be a little bit of a work. So I'm going to leave the camera run, probably speed up through it, but you'll see it's going to be a struggle. I would call that hanging on by a thread. Let me bring the camera up over here. You can see it's just barely on there, so I'm going to keep my toes away in case this thing decides to drop. And you can see the lower pins aren't even in there. So let's get some wood underneath this. Set you guys back down there. So what I'm going to do is put some wood underneath, 2x in the back, and then I got a 2x for this side. Now we're going to lower down, see what that does. Watch your ears. There. Now, if I need it, my hooks all go underneath the pins, so I'm actually able to get in there and hook on the way I'm supposed to. It's still kind of tilted forward, but that's because of the hillside. But that's the best we can do. I do need to make a dedicated level implement parking spot. Just my list of things to do is looking like Santa Claus gift list. Really long, and he gets to his. I don't always get to all mine. So, all right, let's go grab that back blade, see what needs to be done on that to get ready for winter. Thought I put you guys right here. That way the sun's not shining, but my shadow is all over here. So as soon as I move out, my shadow won't be in the way. Hopefully we got the pins on the 3-point hitch in the right spot. This, once again, I didn't set on any wood, so it may be a pain in the butt to get out of this spot, but that's why we're doing it now while it's not freezing. So let's see how this goes. That's laid pretty nice. Let's move you guys and we'll take a once over on this thing. Alright, seems like it's all into the right spots there. Now I think we're gonna have to, that's hooking up, but the top pin is a little too low, but I want to get this someplace a little more level. And what we'll do, let's me move you guys around here. Probably have to move our bolt-on hooks extended hook here up like one set of holes, because let's see if I can sneak you around in there. You see that little gap in there? We want that hook down into the bottom of that rounded part there. So let's get this kickstand up, go someplace a little more level. Hopefully you guys don't tip over there. Hold on. You guys want to keep falling over. I'm going to put you on this side of the scraper. There. All right. Let's get the kickstand up out of the way. And so we're probably going to be dropping it again. So we can adjust that hook. I'm just going to slide her up. And I can see this is starting to fall apart. Might have to get a new one of those. Yeah, I might have to find a new pin. That's not going to work for very long, so I'll put that on my shopping list, either at Fleet Farm or the local hardware store, or if I happen to get over to Tractor Supply. So, all right, let's go get this someplace level, get that hook straightened out, make sure that bolt's all nice and tight. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of moving parts on here. Pretty simple. As you can see, we've flexed this a few times, pushing stuff, so it's got a little bit of a bend. But normally for winter, what I do is leave it in the position so the blade is rolling away. That way it kind of flows over the snow, pushes it out of the way. Remember, I'm not trying to scrape this clean like a highway. I just need to get the snow level down enough so I can get in and out of here. And by letting some of the snow pack in and freeze, it actually levels things out for me. So, but yeah, you can overdo it with these things. I don't know if the camera shows a little bit of a bow there, but we've definitely pushed on something a little too hard. And remember, when you're pushing too hard and it's bending here, that's sending forces all the way up through your tractor. So good thing it just bent there. You know, you can overdo these tractors. So pay attention to what you're doing. Okay, let me move you a little closer. We're going to drop down that kickstand, pull this thing down. Get on this side so you can see what I'm doing. Yep, we're definitely going to have to get a new one of those pins. That's just barely hanging in there. Take those guys off, that guy off, drop this thing the rest of the way. Alrighty. Let me pull the tractor forward, shut it off. I'll show you how I'm going to adjust this. Okay, so what we're going to do, this pin's got to come up like one set of holes here. pull these pins or the clips off the pins. Kind of remember where you're hooked up. I mean, if you screw up and you move it too far up or too far down, not that big a deal. You can just go through the motions of moving it again. When you're down on this lowest one, it is a little bit of a pain to get those pins out. So, all right, so we're going to come up one. Come on. On the spot. There we go. And I offset, one going in one direction, one going in the other direction. I have had one of these pins pop out. That was operator error. Didn't have the clip on all the way. The weird thing is I found the pin and the clip. So, all right. So now we're going to back up, see if this works. Alright, I'm going to bring you up here. You kind of see that this is not in there at all. So let me move you out a little bit. And we're going to bring the whole rig down. See if we can pop it in there. Alright, what I'll do is get some wood, we'll throw it underneath the blade, that'll tip it forward. I mean, I think it's my top link is off a little bit for this particular implement, but we should be able to push it forward. Alright, let's see if this works. me show you the difference. Here, these guys are in, and this guy's in. And a little side to side. Could be better being in the middle, but the first time I start pushing snow around with this thing, it's going to slide anyhow. So let's lift her up, throw on the locks, and then we'll work on that bolt. Okay, that seems like it's locked down. Let me shut off the tractor. Okay, the way this one adjusts, you've got one pin here, allows it to tip side to side. And then you have another pin here that allows us to work our angle. And since we're doing the sort of blading behind the tractor and pushing off snow, we use the pins on this side. But you can see it's kind of loose, so I'm going to have to play around, see if I can get this bolt tightened up, which is always fun. Let me bring you guys down here. You can see inside there is a nut and a little bit of thread there, so we'll see what we can do for tightening it ourselves. Otherwise, when I have some help out here, I might have to get some help tighten that out up. So let me shut you down for a sec, get all my tools, and we'll see what we can do. Well, welcome back to this bolt's going to drive me nuts. As you can tell, the shadows have changed a little bit and the tractor's in a different position because it's the next day. And to was trying something not on camera, trying to loosen or tighten this bolt because the nut is way down in this little part down here. Let me move the camera around so maybe you can see that. Right here, there's a nut that's connected to this bolt. Trying to tighten this so we don't have so much slop in there. Well, all was going well. I had a wedge started on the flat side till it decided to let go and decided to bend my pinky a direction it normally doesn't move. So that sort of ended yesterday's adventure on this. So I picked up a wrench and a socket. We'll see which will get us in there and see if we can get this tightened up. So let me get my parts together and we'll see what we can do. Well, $23 later, a bent finger. I got me an 1.5 inch wrench that fits in there because all my metric wrenches wouldn't fit in there. By the time I got them adjusted big enough to go around the nut down there, it wouldn't slip in. So the only alternative was going to that, and this seems to be working. Taking out some of the slack there. I don't want this too tight, but you can see the gap has closed up a little bit there. I want to be able to a little rocking motion so I can turn this thing around if I need to or adjust my angles, but I don't want so much slop that that nut decides to take off on me and drop the whole darn thing on the ground, because it all swivels on that bolt. So maybe 1 or 2 more cranks on this thing, and next time I'll throw a little penetrating oil on there. It'll probably work even a little bit better, but yeah, that ought to do it. And another one-use tool, unless I find something else that's 1.5 inches. But maybe like the torque nut on the bottom of a washing machine or something like that. But that's about it that I know it's that big. Most of the thing on this tractor ain't that big. So, alrighty, we got that fixed. Nothing really to grease on this thing. I've checked my fluids on the tractor, so pretty much we're ready for snow if we need to be. Already have it a little bit at an angle. So let's see what else we can get done today. I'm just going to use a little bar oil. Slop it on there, slap it on the back side, spin it a little bit. And knock the camera over. That lubricates up that plate, so if I do have to adjust it this winter, it won't be so rusted and corroded. Just sort of work that around. You can see here's the other adjustment point. We can tilt this thing at an angle if we need to. Most of the work I do is using plowing snow. I kind of keep it flat, but if I did have to like scrape a ditch, I can tilt it, run along, scrape out a ditch. Let me get cleaned up here and we'll wrap up. Alright, so we got the tractor pretty much situated for winter. Off camera, I've checked the fluids. I won't do a complete change out until springtime. Really didn't run it that much this summer. Had more use this spring than it did even through the winter. Didn't have that much snow to move during last winter. Knock on wood. This winter won't be as much snow either. So I don't have to push, but I probably just cursed myself, so oh well. So bucket's on. Skis are on the bucket, got the back blade on, got it kind of lubed up and moving, that bolt tightened up. So we're kind of ready for the first real plowable snow that we have to deal with. Coming up, I'll get up and do the gator. I got to get the plow on that, put the cover on that, so if we do get a snow, I'm not having to clean off the seat so I can plow with that. I have my few implements that I've got staged along the fence line, up either on dunnage of some type of wood, 2x material of some sort, or on pallets. That way it won't freeze and stick to the ground. I do have some odds and ends around the barn here that need to be picked up and dealt with, but even if we get a little snow, I can still move those things around and deal with it. So that sort of ends my, I don't know how many part series it's going to be on getting the old 3039R ready for winter, and see what other adventures we get up to here in the next video. So thanks for watching.